Hey everyone, and thank you so much for joining today's webinar. I'm really delighted to actually be here working with you guys once again. Just to give you a bit of background, my name is Robin Holt and I'm here representing Birchal. I'm the Chief Campaign Officer here. And I actually worked with Jonathan and Jesse from memobottle back in 2018 when they were doing effectively one of the very first proprietary limited company raises in the CSF industry. I'd just come to Australia. These guys really gave me a full introduction into life in Australia and the startup ecosystem. And it was amazing to work with you guys back then. And I'm really thrilled to see you back once again and delighted to be sharing this webinar with everybody here. So guys, I'd love to quickly throw over to you to introduce yourselves. And then we're going to run through the structure of today's webinar, and then we'll get right into it.
Thanks, Robin. So my name's Jesse. I'm Jono. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining us today, and everyone who's watching the recording at a later date as well. We really appreciate your attention, and are excited to take you on the memobottle journey from when we were born right through until today. So we're going to be touching on our continued growth, our vision, and our plans to take memobottle to the next level. So yeah, in the interest of everyone's time, we will work our way through this as quickly as possible. Our whole history in 25 minutes. So we'll see how we go.
We'll try to do 25. Thanks again to everyone for giving up your Monday night. I know it's a night that's cherished. It's time that's cherished. So we really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And look, like the guys have said, they've got a bit of a presentation to go through to really give some background into the business, and I think the very exciting future plans for the business and all these other products that you're going to roll out. And then what we're going to do once the guys have finished that is actually open up for a Q&A. But what I'd really encourage everybody to do is use the Q&A feature. Just ask your questions as and when they pop into your head and you really want to know them. I'll take a note of them. I'll ask the guys straight after the presentation so we can get into it, because we've got all the way up until 6 o'clock to have all your questions answered. So guys, over to you.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Well, thanks, Robbie.
Just give me a sec. We'll just share screen. How's that? Is that all good?
Beautiful.
Perfect.
Cool. We lost you for a sec there. Okay. Well, for those of you that aren't familiar with memobottle and the brands, which we hope most of you are, given you've come along for this webinar, which again, we thank you for. We're a premium reusable lifestyle brand with a focus on reducing single-use consumption through innovative and convenient design. So the reason we are here, as Robbie mentioned, is we're here for an equity raise, and this is all about the next phase of growth for memobottle. So it's expanding our product range, entering us into new categories, and really trying to implement a world-class customer experience. But we're going to touch a lot on this over the next couple of slides or 25 minutes. So we'll get back to you on that.
So where better to start than when memobottle was born. So we created memobottle in 2014 because of two main frustrations that we had. The first one was single-use water bottles and the environmental harm that they were having. So over 500 billion single-use bottles are consumed each year, and less than 20% of them actually get recycled. And then the other frustration was we were at university at the time. We were trying to fit cylindrical water bottles in our bags next to our laptops and just ending up with a big bulge. And we looked, we looked online and we couldn't see any bottles that were flat. So we thought, why, looking at everything else in our bag that was flat, like our laptops and our books, why not design a bottle that fit perfectly in there? So we did one that was paper sized in a range of different sizes here. So that basically was the solution. So it was designed to fit into our bags, into our back pockets, and fit better into our lives. We wanted to create an iconic design so that we could touch that environmental mission and entice people to move towards a more reusable society. We like to say at memobottle that people come for the design but stay for the environmental impact.
So we launched on Kickstarter back in 2014, and we were therefore we say that we were born from the crowd. This little idea that was a sketch on a notepad back in the day went quite viral. We ended up selling over 12,000 units to 6,000 incredibly passionate backers at the time. And the whole concept went quite viral, was included in the Oscars gift bags and sort of all over mainstream media at the time, which is awesome. We've since run 4 crowdfund campaigns since then. And this community that we've developed over the years has become really powerful and important for the future direction of both the business, our products, basically everything we go to the crowd for. So it was a bit of a no-brainer for us when we get to this point in the business and our growth, where we want to be increasing our product range and everything significantly. Crowdfund equity or equity crowdfunding was a real no-brainer because we wanted to bring this community along for the journey with us.
So overall, our mission is to inspire and motivate people to move towards a more reusable way of life and eradicate unnecessary single-use product consumption. We are a certified B Corp, so social and environmental considerations are at the forefront of everything that we do. We have a dual impact model that we measure our performance by, and a really a beautiful partnership with water.org, which we'll touch on a little bit later. But our mission and vision are much bigger than just bottles. We have our sights set on expanding our range significantly, and we'll go into that further in the presentation. So looking at our timeline from 2014 to today, you can see here that we've had 4 different, I mean, you try and piece it together, but we've had 4 different crowdfunding campaigns. 3 of them were Kickstarters, which were product launches. Along the way, we've won multiple design awards. We partnered with water.org. We had our first virtual equity raise, became a B Corp, launched our accessories range. And then more recently, we were featured by the Kardashians, which was kind of cool. And we have partnered with the Australian Open twice and the Formula One this year. But some really exciting stats from this year alone was that we've now prevented over 180 million single-use bottles from being consumed, 22 million days of clean water provided through our partnership with water.org, and we sold our 1 millionth product, which is pretty exciting.
Apologies if that's overwhelming for everyone. It's a lot to pack into one page.
We did our best.
So as Robbie mentioned at the start, back in 2018, we did take part in our first virtual equity raise, which was super successful. And we brought just over 450 investors over on the ride with us here at memobottle and raised over 383K. What this raise back in 2018 was all about was international expansion. And what we set were 4 strategic objectives that we wanted from that particular raise. So we'll just run through each of them briefly and just sort of track the performance since 2018 against those objectives. So the first one being increase overall international sales. So we've been able to achieve that pretty effectively over the last 3 years, almost doubling revenue up to just over 3.1 mil this year. And that's just in the 11 months to May. We've shipped over 200,000 orders, I should say, to over 100 countries. Expanded our range quite a bit, which we'll touch on a little bit later. And the average order value has significantly increased over the year as well, which is something we're continuously trying to work on, especially as our brand goes more down that D2C path. The second one, which I just touched on a little bit, was the international expansion goal. So I said that we're now shipping to over 100 countries. We, prior to COVID and about to return again, were really big on attending and exhibiting at trade shows all around the world. So we're doing that across countries throughout Europe and America, Australia, and partners doing it for us in Asia. And we've made a big focus on bringing on partners in these international regions to really focus that representation in areas where we are perhaps not specialized, whether it be language, culture, or logistical barriers. So it's been huge for our expansion. Another big one was we wanted to increase our gross margins. And we've effectively done that really well over the last 3 years for a couple of reasons. Firstly being we have just taken advantage of economies of scale as our production runs have increased. We've been able to decrease the per unit prices of all of our materials, which has been great. And the big one, I think, on that for reducing our COGS and just overall freight due to our air freight percentage. So we've put a lot of effort into our stock forecasts and sales forecasts to really being able to map out sea freights throughout the world, and we've been able to reduce our air freight down by more than half, which is fantastic. And then finally, and we'll touch on this a little bit, but our goal was to increase the overall brand exposure and marketing globally. And we've partnered with some amazing events in the last couple of years, including the Australian Open and Formula One recently. We've put a lot of work in and built all of our lists. So email lists have grown a lot. Social media following has increased a lot over the last couple of years. And we've partnered with some really cool brands on corporate gifting and corporate events as well, which we'll touch on.
Okay, so now we get to talk about product. So
Jesse loves products, by the way.
I do. I'm pretty excited to talk about product. So to start off with, we're going to talk about our original range. So they come in 4 different sizes: A7, A6, A5, and the slim, which actually isn't a paper size, but it fits perfectly into the range as well. And so these are all designed to fit perfectly in a whole lot of different bags in your back pocket. And then later on, we launched the stainless steel range. So we launched these on Kickstarter late last year, and these are set to hit the market in a few months. And then after that, so this is in 2020, we launched our accessories range. And so that included metallic lids, the vibrant and muted tones of the silicons, and organic forms of the desk stands. They basically allow for hundreds of different combinations. So designed with a mission to prolong the life and love of your memobottle, these products have been a game changer for us, and they boosted AOVs by over 40%. So late last year, we launched the stainless steel range on Kickstarter. This was basically the first expansion of our core ranges of product that were received incredibly well. We ran a 30-day Kickstarter campaign, and overall have brought in $850,000 in pre-orders and from over 5,600 backers, which is super exciting.
Very exciting. So this takes us to our vision, and this is sort of what we're all here for today. So this latest investment raise is really, as I mentioned earlier, to help us increase our product range, increase capacity, and increase or improve our overall customer experience. So we've broken this down just to give you a bit of an overview or a further introduction to these areas in order of focus. So first one being product expansion, which is our biggest focus over the next couple of years. And this will see us entering whole new categories of product and expanding outside of just the water bottles, which we have been up until this point, to try to cover quite a few or many different single-use touch points and replace them with a more convenient reusable alternative. So what does this look like? Coffee cups, lunch boxes, bags. You can see all the icons there. We've got a big product roadmap lineup. Jesse's going to be busy over the next couple of years. So it's just super exciting the way this can take our brand. The next one's customer experience. And there's, again, many different phases to this and touch points, but our customers and community have become arguably one of the biggest contributors to our growth over the years. And our products, the memobottle in particular, has become known as a really incredible gift to both friends and family. So what we're doing, we're setting all of our sights on improving all of our offerings to ensure that they're widely endorsed through word of mouth, but also increasing our return customers and overall lifetime value. So we're going to be focusing on things like personalization, customization, in-store retail displays for all of our B2B customers. We've mentioned that we're going to be doubling down a lot on event partnerships and activations and really fostering that emotional connection that our brand has with customers and their experiences. And then a big one as well, just this week, we're actually in the final processes of finalising our own warehouse within Australia, which will bring all of our warehousing in-house and allow us to do all sorts of flexible, customize and seasonal offerings, which is super exciting. I think there's a lot of opportunity there, and that's certainly scalable to our foreign countries as well. And then finally, I think sort of this final component of increasing our overall demand speaks for itself a little bit, but this is expanding our memobottle team, our superstar memobottle team that we already have on board, and really focusing on those areas that we see the most potential for our brand, be it e-com, marketing and product development, investing in more of our existing stock. You know, it's always seems to be in hot demand. So we do experience stock outages time to time. So we want to make sure that that is never happening. And then also the stainless steel campaign that we just spoke about recently. So really doubling down on those products because there's people just lining up already wanting to buy them. And as we push into more of a D2C focus, the marketing and creative content is a big focus of ours. So we want to increase our investment a lot in the marketing and photo shoots and videos.
Absolutely. So the reusable lifestyle to us is basically when you start and end your day without having to touch a single-use product. So to me anyway, it's when you walk to work in the morning, you hand your favorite A7 coffee cup over to your local barista and receive it back brimming with freshly roasted single origin coffee and a warm smile. It's that first sip you take and the last sip you take. It's when you walk into the office, you reach inside your A3 daily tote made from recycled plastic water bottles. You pull out your A5 lunchbox and you place it in the chilled fridge. It's when you sit down at your desk, you pull out your A6 memobottle from its dedicated pocket in your daily tote and place it perfectly in its universal desk stand, a place for everything and everything in its place. It's when you walk into a meeting with your A6 memobottle clutched against your MacBook and you're met with intrigue. You've turned heads. What is that? Is that a water bottle? It's a place where the room is yours. It's a place where you look forward to opening the lid of your A5 lunchbox, being greeted with wholesome food and feeling nourished. It's a place when you lay down in bed at night, when the pillow hugs you back and you smile to yourself with a sense of achievement that you've done your bit. How'd you like that one, Robbie?
You've all just
awesome. I'm almost lost for words because I really feel like you've put so much thought into it. So I really love it.
It was a dream I had. Yeah.
It's a little glimpse of what goes on in Jesse's head. I think that right.
Okay, so to continue on with the brand and marketing. So our memobottle values are surrounded by three main points, which we see as being a design and purpose-led brand. Our brand is our identity, and just basically that our customers are the lifeblood of our business, and we sort of sit right in the middle there.
Yeah, and similarly, our value prop to our customers is that we are right in that intersection of sustainability, design and function, which Jesse spoke about, and fashion and lifestyle. I mean, who would have thought that a water bottle can become a fashion icon, which we've certainly been able to do over the last couple of years, which has been great. So it's all about that improved life convenience through whilst also improving sustainability factors.
And then our powerful community. So it's basically the heart and soul of our brand, and the people behind these numbers are what sets us apart from the rest. We love our community. They've been with us since the very start, and it just continues to build and build. So we on social media, there's over 100,000 people following, 61,000 email subscribers. We've got 5,500 active ambassadors that are contributing content all the time, and 70,000 plus unique pieces of user-generated content, which it's so nice for us to see the community using our products and it becoming a part of their lives.
Absolutely. Okay, so this takes us to our overall performance, and what we like to do is we round up all of our business performance under four pillars, which we call our 4 Ps. So it's planet, people, product, and then if we're doing all of those things right, then ideally there is a profit there, which certainly works for us if we are ticking off all those other 3 boxes. So we'll start from the top with planet and just how we've been going over the last couple of, well, since inception really of memobottle. So Jesse mentioned earlier that we do have a dual impact model at memobottle. On the one hand, we are measuring the number of single-use bottles that we estimate we've been able to prevent through the sale of memobottle or the use of memobottle products. So that's north of 180 million at the moment, which is really great. And then on the other hand, we've got a beautiful partnership with water.org, which is a not-for-profit based out of the US. And for every memobottle sold, we are able to provide 5 months of clean water to those in need. So to date, we've been able to contribute over 22.3 million days of clean water, which is something we're super proud of.
So the second one is people, and we've already touched on some of these metrics already. But yeah, the other one is to note is the size of the memobottle team, which has grown to 12 superstars. Everyone on our team are world class, and yeah, we have a really nice community culture.
Good.
Yeah. Okay, third is product. So this is all around the accolades and enjoyment that is associated with our products. So we've won quite a few awards over the years, which has been fantastic. As I said before, we recently celebrated selling our 1 millionth product. On the internet, there's a lot of 5-star reviews of our products. And yeah, I don't know, we've basically been written by pretty much everyone over the years. We've been around for 8 years now. And yeah, there's been some pretty exciting articles out there, from crowdfunding to product launches to our impact as well.
And then finally, we rounded out with profit. So this is our overall financial performance since inception. So just over 15.3 mil in cumulative revenue. We've shipped over 300,000 products. Jesse mentioned over 1 million products, so 300,000 orders, over 1 million products now sold. And we're shipping to over 100 countries from our 10 strategically located warehouses all around the world. So cool. So that rounds out the performance, and that takes us to our opportunity. So just a couple of reasons why this opportunity, this investment might be something that interests you guys, and the reason for attending this webinar. But as we mentioned, our ultimate vision is to become a global leader in the reusable product category and really accelerate the world's transition into sustainable products through more convenient design. So we sit in a really enviable position at the moment. And here's just a couple of reasons why we think that we are to do so, some of the things, the benefits that we're currently at. So first one being that there is a large customer desire at the moment for purpose-led brands. So as we all wake up to the environmental damage caused by single-use products around the world, there's a desire and expectation by customers for reusable products and purpose-led brands. So this is just growing and growing as we go on, and we all want to feel better for the products that we purchase, and have an idea where our money's going, and that it's supporting brands with an ethos that we can actually connect with. So the second one is the first to market association. So memobottle was the first flat reusable water bottle to the market. And with this comes a lot of strong brand connection with our customers, and it creates a really big and powerful marketing and awareness advantage. And then the final one there is established network. So we've got a tried and tested operational framework, supply chain and distribution channels that are all built to scale and scale quickly. So as soon as we bring out this new product range, it just goes straight out into those channels. Okay, and so the other three here are a proven track record. So we have a track record of designing, launching and scaling successful products. We actively listen to our customers and deeply understand their wants and desires through a lot of surveys that we've done, and yeah, listening to them over the years. We have established and trusted brand equity. So we possess a large and loyal customer following of thousands around the world. And the reusable product industry. So consumers are becoming more eco-conscious in purchase decisions that they're making, and reusable products are celebrated and flaunted. So this industry is going to have incredible growth potential. So that pretty much brings us to the end. I think most of you that are here have hopefully already expressed interest through the Birchal campaign. So registrations close tomorrow night at 10 p.m. So it's Tuesday, 10 p.m. 28th of June. I've got that right, haven't I, Robbie? Yep, shake your head.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have.
Yeah. So you do need to register interest to be able to gain access to our private launch, which I'm sure we'll get more info from Robbie on. But
yep,
that's it for us. And thank you for all of your time. And this is sort of what we've been looking forward to now, the Q&A time. So looking forward to hearing whatever anyone might be interested in asking.
Yeah, thanks.
Right.
Thanks.
Thank you guys. Thank you very much. That was an awesome presentation. A really good, I think, good summary of what you've been up to in a long time, really quite succinctly, because there's been a heap of activity that's gone on in the business. So over those 8 years that you've been in business. So we've actually had a number of questions come through, which is great. So I will run through all the questions that we've got, and I'm absolutely sure that more will come through. So Philip here has asked a good question around what do you see the target average gross margin moving forward? And I'm sure that means effectively looking at other different products that you're going to be bringing into your business and what that average might look like.
Yeah, it's a really good question. I mean, obviously we want to push it as high as we can.
Yeah.
There are limitations there, I guess, in terms of what's going on with sea freight and the costs around the world for raw materials and everything are going up. But we basically, whenever we bring out a new product and maintaining all of our existing products, we always make sure that there's at least a 5 times margin on cost there to RRP. And that's a non-negotiable for us because it means that we can then slot in wholesale and distribution channels and margins within that. So yeah, I think in answer to the question, as long as we continue to scale and grow, I think our production runs are going to be a lot higher, and we'll have more negotiating power with our suppliers, which will reduce product costs. So hopefully we've still got a long way to go.
Yeah, awesome. And Jason, thanks for your question. He's asked, what was the primary reason for going stainless steel over plastic? What need or desire was it addressing?
So originally we brought out the plastic bottle, and that was we were looking at the different materials, and the plastic had the lowest embodied energy getting that material out of the ground. So we start off with that because it was going to be going into your bags, and we didn't want it to get broken, so we didn't choose glass or anything like that. Over the years, we've had countless requests to bring out a stainless steel version. And so what we wanted to do was bring out this product, which was like built to last. So, this could be a family heirloom that you've passed down from generations. It will not die. So yeah. That's why we chose stainless steel, and it can be recycled really, really effectively as well.
They've both got their different value props as well. It is different customers, I think, that prefer the different materials. I mean, one of the beautiful things about the existing or original memobottle range is the transparency, and it's almost mesmerizing the way you can see the water flow in between there. It is a little bit lighter as well, whereas, as Jesse was saying, the new stainless steel bottles are just it's almost a different customer, and it's a different value prop.
Yeah, absolutely. And same individual asking if there's questions around improving leak-proof elements or reducing the risks of leaking in products.
Absolutely. I mean, leaking is one of the most important aspects of the design. Is like you'll be putting a bottle in your bag next to your electronics, it cannot leak. So since the very start, it's been a huge focus, and so we've got a pretty sturdy silicon seal in there, which is also on the stainless steel bottle as well. So as we go forward with every product, and we're continually improving our products as we go.
Yeah. Awesome. And Mayana here has asked a question which I was going to ask you guys, so I'm very glad it's been asked. Is the name going to be staying the same? Because surely memobottle cannot apply to all these other industries which Mayana has identified here. Will the name be staying the same? Example, cycling, sports, coffee cups, or will it be a sub-brand? Just curious, as it goes back to the main principles of reducing waste, improving on the reusable lifestyle, and providing for those in need.
It's a great question.
You must have been asked this many times by any people who you've spoken to about expanding.
We have, and at this stage, we plan to keep the name the same. We feel as though there is quite a lot of brand equity in memobottle itself, and it's starting to become a word which isn't necessarily a describing word as bottle is. So we plan to bring out these products underneath the umbrella of memobottle, but some of these products may be like Memo Coffee by memobottle, for example. But there's still a little bit of work to do on the rollout of those products as we launch the bag range and and the coffee range as well. So we'll be sure to spend a lot of time making sure that we communicate and brand that effectively.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Same individual was asked a question: if you invest for events for those who are part of the company, be a part of the journey to help improve the awareness of the brand. So will you guys be sort of hosting events to improve awareness within your sort of mission that you're looking to achieve as a business?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is something that we wanted to do. It's been a little bit difficult over the last couple of years because we've sort of been working remotely and at home. So we're looking forward to, once we get this new warehouse and everything, that we'll actually be able to host events and have the community come to us and, really celebrate and work with us on events as well.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's one of those things that I remember even when we initially got out. For months, there weren't really that many events around, and now there's a lot happening, but it's still getting back to normal. It seems like it's not quite gotten. Everybody's getting back to normal at their own levels. So
they're been conditioned, haven't they?
Very much so. Very much so.
Remember when we first met, Robbie? We used to try to throw events wherever possible in the old office. So we need to step that up again, don't we?
It was any excuse, and I was all for it. So yeah, I completely agree. Jason here, actually, I'd be really keen to know this. Can the bottles take carbonated products?
So with the plastic version, we recommend that you don't put carbonated liquids in there. That's basically just because of the pressure that comes out. I don't want to get too technical into the engineering, but usually with
Pandora's box here, Jason.
Yeah, with a cylindrical bottle, the pressure comes out uniformly, so it holds really well. With the flat bottle, it tends to bulge quite a little bit, so we recommend against it in this version. We've tested in the stainless steel version, and it holds up really well. So, yeah.
Yep. No, fair enough. And actually, I feel like we can probably develop on this one a little bit more. But Mayana has asked a question around: what will your point of difference be in your new product range? So effectively, all the products that you're putting together, you must have looked at the market and just said, well, we can do something better in that market, and that market. So why don't you talk through your new products that you bring into market, and effectively where your points of difference are?
Absolutely. So our products, we try to design them so that they're quite minimal. We start off with quite a lot of features, and then we pull them away, we strip it away. So it's just the functional elements that remain there, and it is quite minimal. When we're looking at our new products, we are going to implement that same design language that we have from the memo bottle across to these other products as well. So for example, the lunchbox, which we're working on, is going to come out, and it's going to be an A5 paper size as well, which is just going to be really nice because it's going to stack perfectly with your other bottles. And same with the bag range that we're coming out with. That's going to be an A3 size daily tote as well. So we're sticking with the paper sizes, and that is our unique differentiator across that. But as well as that, everything is slim. So we want things to be able to fit in your bag really nicely. So the lunchbox will be slim, the bottle will be slim, the coffee cup will be slim. And so they'll all hold that same sort of design language. So when you see that product, you're going to know that it's a memo bottle product.
Yeah.
I understand that can be a little bit hard to sort of wrap your head around unless you've seen it visually. So so maybe we need to just watch this space, and once we'll be releasing something shortly, but we just can't do it just yet.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, there's probably so much more to go into, but maybe we'll individually crack through each of those products, and I'll ask you a few more specific questions around it and see what you can answer. Philip here has asked, Aria Financials, are you now cash flow positive?
Yes, we are. Yeah, so we've cash flow positive, and this year in a pretty significant profit position. The year coming into COVID, we were in a really, really good profit position, and then we sort of had to take a bit of a back seat during that difficult year along with everyone else. But yeah, things are firing along pretty well at the moment.
Yeah, awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, it's so impressive to see where you guys have come, even since the last raise, actually. Really, really impressive growth. So we've just got a couple of questions here in the chat as well. Where are your products effectively being manufactured? So the supply chain.
So at the moment, we manufacture in southern China. We have quite a diversified supply network. We produce some bottles in some factory and others in others. We like to diversify because of risk. But we've worked with these partners for many, many years, basically since the very start of memobottle. And we already knew about them and had spoken to them a long time before we started as well. So we've been over there many times. We've worked with them for years now, and have created a great relationship.
Yeah, awesome. And you got a question here: what benefits are there for investors? So investor rewards, take us through them, guys.
Investor rewards, so you'll see all these in the offer doc, and I actually don't have them right in front of me now, but it's lifetime discounts in a tiered fashion. So it'll be lifetime discounts for all of your Christmas presents, all of your own presents, and as we increase that product range, it's going to become more and more valuable.
Yeah, awesome. And what's the expected time frame for the new products? I can imagine that you may have a bit of a map out for this for some of the new products, but of course you'll be working to get them in place as quickly as possible. But yeah, really keen to know what maybe in order of just priority of products.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So it will depend a little bit on how successful this raise is as well. But we next one to come out is the bag range. So in a few months this will be landing in shelves, the stainless steel bottles. Then the bag range. Following that will be the lunchbox and then the coffee cup. The lunchbox we are looking to launch next year, and then if we can do the coffee range as well the same year, will be fantastic. That's what we're gunning for. So yeah, we'll try our hardest.
Yeah,
right. No, super ambitious. That's awesome. Anything to add, Jono? I felt like there was something.
No, I'm not going to stomp on Jesse's product toes. But I think the bag range is quite close actually. So it's probably going to be realistically now probably towards the end of this year, early next that we do the bags.
Start of next, I think.
Start of next. So the plan is to rip into it, very, very quickly. We're not here to spin in our tracks, that's for sure.
Yeah,
and need to get it moving.
And I'll probably go off on a bit of a tangent, but it's really exciting because we've had one product basically for the last 7 years, and all of our customers have been asking for new products, and they're sort of like, I think, a little bit sick of us showing them the bottle every single email. So it's going to be really nice for us to be able to flow products out to them into our existing channels, and I think it'll convert really well into sales.
For sure. But what's super exciting about that as well is, like, as Jesse mentioned, it basically has been the memobottle since we started, and albeit in various sizes, but sales trends of this existing product are still continuing to grow at a pretty impressive rate. So it's going to be incredibly exciting to see what happens when we can start to expand that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely. And Helen here has basically stated, I'm very happy to see stainless steel, as they are typically more robust. So guys, great to see that feedback that you made the transition. And I'm sure, what's that? Sorry, Jesse?
I just said, thanks, Helen.
Absolutely. No, thank you. It's great to see those comments come in. Josh below has asked, stated keen to understand the trademarks and patents that you actually have in place. And guys, actually, apologies for not asking this before, but maybe we should stop sharing our screen so then it's easier for everybody to see the conversation going on.
Cool.
Perfect.
So we have in terms of our IP, we have a range of trademarks on the memobottle name. We basically have coverage in most countries around the world on that name, have since the beginning, which has been great. In terms of the products, we have multiple design registrations and shape marks on those products as well. And we see it as a very key focus of ours when we're bringing out a new product to make sure that we have that design protection as best we can. We also own about 50 domain names, which to sort of give us some coverage in that space as well, so that no one goes off and starts using memobottle in another country.
I can imagine. And I think that even when it comes down to the question about rebranding, your first thought is, oh no, not the domain names. No, not the domain names. We've got so many domains in different jurisdictions for memobottle, not the domain names. Because even if you look, and of course you're not on this level of scale, but if you look at Facebook and their rebranding exercise to Meta, that cost them what, 60 million, I think. Just and it's so expensive for a business. And it's almost, you really do have to think about the actual impact it will have on the business if you don't rebrand, and how much it will cost if you do, because is it really worth it? So I'm pleased to hear that you're sticking with the name right now. So you've got a couple of questions here around when you anticipate to IPO, or what the time frame is for return on investment, and if you're thinking of listing on the ASX. I know you've probably received a number of questions. I know that you had a number of questions in your last raise around this, and what the answer and response was to this, but I'm keen to throw over to you guys to cover this one off, and I can cover anything else in between.
Yeah, cool. Do you want to go from there? So ASX isn't on the immediate cards. That's that could be a little bit down the track, but at the moment, so we are already receiving quite a bit of interest from private equity companies in terms of a purchase, and we haven't really been entertaining many of those or any of those conversations as of yet, just because we know that there's so much more that we want to be doing with this brand first, being this product expansion for one. And we really think that that's going to drive a huge increase in value over the next couple of years once we can really expand those horizons. We do think that we'll probably get to a point in the next couple of years where revenues and just overall business size and strategy might be potentially beyond, well, not beyond our skill sets, but require additional partners. And we're definitely willing and open to bringing on partners to really help us scale that over the next couple of years. In terms of time frame, 2 to 3 years, I think, is probably something that we'd be looking at. And then I think in that opportunity, in that case, whether it's a large partner to help us grow, or whether it's someone that does purchase the business, it will definitely present some opportunity to investors to jump out or stay along for the ride.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when it comes to this type of investment, you're investing into a private company as well. And just really note that the shares are illiquid, and generally the funds which are going to be used in this raise are there to grow the business. That is your number one goal. And you really want to think about it as an investor who's coming on board in this journey as in, okay, is my investment going to be able to grow the business and see it continue to grow as it has been in the past, because you guys have actually now got a really good track record of growth in the past. So it's really about seeing that continued growth, because when it does come to an exit event and an exit opportunity, yes, you guys are much more established now. So that you might be in a position whereby you might be able to supply that to some of these shareholders and these investors. And you absolutely hope so, because that's what you want. It's a great event for everybody to be able to do so. But I think it's really important just to address that as there are liquid shares, it's just important to think, I'm most likely going to hold these for a few years.
Yeah, and I think just to add to that, we're in a much different position than what we were in 2008. And I think when you're a really fresh startup, it's really hard to sort of see and really understand what that vision might look like, or what your potential partners that you might be working with in the future or purchase might be. Whereas over the last 2 or 3 years, we've started to have a lot of those conversations. So a lot of that that vision is really starting to line up now, which is exciting. So yeah, there's definitely a large possibility of that over the next couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, and when you mentioned that, we've got a question here around how do you guys plan to compete in markets with a tight economy? So kind of talking to what we might be up against in the next couple of years. I'm sure you guys have probably got a couple of questions in this regard.
From a product point of view, I think, we always try to sea freight everything, try to reduce those costs as much as possible. We're certainly getting smarter at the way that we do our packaging and our product design, so that we can reduce those costs as much as possible and increase the margins from a cost point of view.
Yeah. From a competition point of view, I think our our products and our offering are very different to those that are on the market. Even our direct competitors are very different product offerings, and probably customers to a lesser extent to what we are. And we mentioned a couple of these items as would in that final opportunity section in our presentation, but it is a growing massive market, the reusable products market, and I think that trend's going to continue over the next couple of years. So there's a huge amount of potential there if we can do it properly.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jason here has asked one of my favorite questions I've seen. Assume when you talk about an A3 bag, it's a bag that's capable of taking an A3 bottle rather than actually being an A3 size in and of itself. Sorry, I will ask it again.
Basically, I'm not sure the way that you asked it that threw me so much.
Yeah. Okay. So assume when you talk about an A3 bag, it is a bag that is capable of taking an A3 size bottle rather than being an A3 size in size itself or size itself.
Yeah, that's right. So it's, I mean,
the bag's A3, not the bottle.
The bag can take an A3 size bottle.
Yeah. Let me segment. So the bag is A3, and you can actually slide A3 size paper inside it, so it'll be just a few little millimeters bigger. But we aren't going to be doing an A3 size bottle, and so therefore.
No, I fundamentally understood it, because I think if I was back in the UK right now, somebody would be like, "But hang on a minute, if it's exactly the same size, how am I going to get that A3 piece of paper in there?" So I know what you guys are saying, and I completely appreciate the question. So thank you very much, Jason.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. So moving down, and we do have a few questions here, and I really appreciate all the questions. They're great to be able to ask and have these guys answer. Damir here has asked, what are the reasons for doing a crowd equity funding round instead of raising funds from your existing VCs or investors? You guys got these questions in the last round. You've done now, this would be your 5th crowdfunding round if you include retail and equity crowdfunding. Is that the case?
Once we include the Kickstarter product launches,
Yeah. So what's your reasons for choosing this?
One of them is that we're born from crowdfunding. Basically, the community's come along with us the whole way through those product launches. They are a significant part of the brand, and so we love being able to give them the opportunity to actually invest in memobottle and come along for the ride, and also get some value out of it themselves as we continue to grow. So from an investment point of view, that's why we wanted to do it. But we want them to be along for the ride. Anything else?
No further comments. I think that's that's exactly right. It's a powerful community that we've been able to build over the years, and it's a community that we love and cherish, and it's got us to this point, and it's helped us build a really strong business just from off the back of all of the recommendations and thoughts and opinions of all of our customers. So it was a bit of a no-brainer to go down the crowdfund path again.
Yeah, awesome. And I've got 3 quick fire questions here below. What are your top 3 geo markets for the existing products?
Australia being our backyard.
Yeah.
US is ever growing with a lot of potential. And number 3
would be France.
Oh, interesting.
Germany. France and Germany. Yeah.
France or Germany. So, merge them into one. So do you have a strategy for Amazon distribution?
We do. So Amazon's quite a big part of our business now. We are very strict on it because if you let go of Amazon, it can do a lot of harm to a business. So we don't allow any of our B2B customers to sell on Amazon except for a really strict select few. We control all listings, all prices, and we do sell across majority of Amazon marketplaces. The US is really, really big for us. Australia and Europe are growing, and we've since expanded into Singapore and Japan and a few other marketplaces. So huge potential there. Currently, it's 25 to 30% of our total revenue.
Yeah, awesome. Any plans for products to be smarter, i.e. measure water quality?
It's certainly something that we've talked about a lot in the past. It's not in the immediate pipeline, but certainly something we'll continue to discuss in the future on the product development side of things.
Yeah, awesome. And have you considered acquisition?
Sorry,
carry on.
I think, like, from a smartness point of view, it's probably a bit of a different angle, but I think the whole ecosystem that we're designing of the products, it's going to be really smart the way that they all integrate into one another, into the lifestyle. So it's like, it will be very smart, but probably from a different way that was asked, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And a question here: have you ever considered being considered acquisition by a bigger player as an exit strategy? I'm sure you have. If so, where is this discussion at this stage, and which potential companies have you identified? I'm sure actually there's probably a number of them out there that really, especially if you look at the US, I'm sure some of these companies have raised heaps of money. We do see it often happen where companies will raise heaps of money in the US, and then their international expansion is to go and acquire an overseas player. So yeah, well, keen for your thoughts on that.
Yeah, definitely on the radar, and it's probably similar to the answer we gave before. Conversations have been had, not entertained seriously at this point, but certainly something that we do talk about quite a lot and could be on the cards for the future.
Yeah, absolutely. And a question here as well: what key man insurance do you have in place? Is it insurance specifically do you have in place, or interesting question, guys? Maybe over to you just to answer. And David, if you could clarify in the comments, that would be fantastic. Just with relation to that comments, because the question is asked: what key man insurance do you have in place? But I think it's around the products itself. Maybe
I can answer just by way of how I interpret that question. We've got global product liability insurance in place, coverage of many millions, and same with professional insurance and directors insurance, all globally. So is that what we're after?
David, thank you very much. I had a suspicion that was exactly what you were saying. If a founder gets hit by a bus, so exactly. What happens if one of you guys, very unfortunately, gets hit by a bus? So what does that look like for the business? Not good, I can imagine.
It wouldn't be great, because one of the two superstars would be no longer. But
yeah, I'm gonna lose my best mate. We do have directors insurance as well. We do have contingency plans in place, where we talk about if some of these unfortunate events might happen, how we can cover those skill sets of the business to continue that we're still operating and able to continue to grow as well. It's unfortunate circumstances, but you need to speak about it.
It's a really we actually did that not long ago, and it's a strange conversation to have. It's quite morbid, talking about all the things that may happen, but we've certainly given ourselves for all of that.
And on top of that, over the years, we've been building the team up as well. So there's less reliance on Jono and myself for those key different areas of the business. We're there for strategy as well, but we've got a great team around us that will support us if anything happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm expecting that one. It's a great left field question.
Jason's already said build the team to reduce key man risk. So you've got it, and great work for doing that. I can imagine it must be quite difficult, to say the least. So Jason, thank you very much for your question up here. Can we just review where the funds are going to be directed? It looks like a large proportion is going out for branding and marketing. At what point does the model become self-sustainable for marketing spend, so further raises are not required for core marketing? Interesting question. Thank you very much for asking it.
Good question. So in terms of areas of focus and spend, the most amount from this raise, and this will be all split out in the offer doc, but the majority of spend will be going towards product development as we expand the range. I was going to give a percentage, but that's going to depend on sort of what the overall success of the campaign is. That's followed up by the customer experience, which is a lot of marketing, website improvement, and really trying to improve all of those little touch points to try to improve, the click-through rates and all of those various metrics. In terms of the have you got anything to add there?
No, and something to working capital as well, a small percentage.
Totally, yeah. So investment in existing product ranges just to ensure that we're fully stocked up across all regions and warehouses. In terms of reliance on future raises, I mean, the goal is to get this all set up and products humming so that we can be growing purely off profits. That obviously depends on the speed of the growth and how fast we want to expand along with all of our shareholders. And in which case it might come to the point where if we hit 8 figures and we need help or a partner to jump on board to help us scale the way we want to do, then we look to those options. But ideally it's profit funded from this investment.
Yeah, fantastic. And we've got a question here. What are the financial benefits for investors? I know we've already talked about the rewards. I know we've already talked about what you're getting in terms of equity in the business. There's a lot more details in the offer document if you really want to dive into the specifics of what you're actually getting to be a part of, what the future strategy is in the business and what you're going to look to achieve with the funds raised. But guys, do you want to maybe elaborate on that point any further?
I don't really have much to add to that. I think, as you said, it will be all outlined in the offer doc. There are rewards attached to the shares, but otherwise ordinary shares that allow you to come along for the ride and hopefully make some big returns over the journey. That is certainly the aim for you guys, I'm sure. So we do have a few questions. I know we're coming up to 6 o'clock. We do have to try and jump off, but we will do our best to answer all of your questions. So thank you very much for staying with us. And I think if in case anybody does have to go, actually, I've got a question here around the timing of the raise. When and where will people be able to invest? You've already mentioned that the EOI campaign is closing tomorrow at 10 p.m. The investment offer will be opening on Wednesday at midday. Anybody who is on the expression of interest list will receive communication tomorrow, and then they will also receive an email on the Wednesday and an SMS from us as soon as the offer is live. So for anybody who wants to be able to gain access to that, I really do encourage you to sign up to the expression of interest list to make sure that your details are left there. Anything else to add, guys?
Spot on, Robbie.
Okay, perfect. And how long will it be possible to purchase a memobottle stock for once the investment offer opens? Shares in the company, effectively.
I guess that just depends on how quickly if we hit our max. So I believe the raise will be open for 2 weeks. Unless it hits that maximum, which there's been a lot of EOIs in the last couple of weeks, which is super exciting. So who knows? It may be open for a day, it may be open for 2 weeks. We'll see how it all goes. Exactly. And you've got a question here asking, what valuation do you plan on raising at? Will this be revenue or EBITDA multiple? So we're still just working on the final touches of that. It's going to be obviously in the offer doc, which will be released on Wednesday. So we'll leave it to that before we give you the exact number, but we can say that it will be based on a revenue model, which is similar to a revenue multiple, I should say, which is similar to other businesses in our categories and industry. And it also reflects what our valuation was in the prior Birchal campaign, and also factoring all of our growth metrics over the past couple of years as well. So awesome. If there's any specific questions on that, once we go live with the offer doc and everything, then more than happy to jump on a call or chat with anyone that has some questions. Yeah, fantastic. And Matt here, thank you very much for your question. How much capital are you hoping to raise in this round? I know you've already broken down some of the areas in which you're looking to spend some of the funds on this capital raise in the business, but do you maybe want to just talk about the minimum and maximum targets?
Yeah, absolutely. So at the minimum, it's quite low, $100,000. And then at the moment, we're looking to have that maximum at 1.2 mil. Yeah, absolutely. And much more details will be provided in the offer document where you can see a percentage of where those funds will go into the business and an explanation for that. So it's really, really given in the offer document.
Tony here, thank you very much for your question. Why Germany and or France and Europe and not the whole of Europe in terms of your geographical area and where you sell a lot of memo bottles?
Well, you asked specific countries.
It's actually Central Europe.
Interesting.
So yeah, France, Germany, Italy are very, very strong for us. It is hard to sort of pinpoint it down. I'd say Germany, yes, would come up.
I think Germany
on top. But yeah, it's since the very start, Europe has been a great market for us. You know, just really loving the design element of the bottle and appreciating the design of it. It's just, sold really well.
We've also got representation in all of those, well, most of those Central European countries as well, whether it be distributors or sales agents, which do really well. Actually, one that's really interesting is China is becoming a really, really big market for us as well, which is an interesting one. We've recently signed on with a Chinese distributor within the last 12 months, and that is coming along really well. Along with, we're just going to keep naming countries now, but quite a few countries within Asia are really coming on strong. Hong Kong traditionally was our second biggest market. Other countries have caught up quite a bit over the years, but I'll stop there because no one wants to hear about us talking about Singapore.
He loves to talk about it. So
the long tail, we'll put it that way. And Jason here has asked the question, do you have a schematic or infographic of how all the products in development integrate from a lifestyle perspective? So I think, Jono, you talked about that in a way in which all the products are linked together. So I can imagine.
We don't have one shareable because all that schematic sort of exists within Jesse's head and within the business, but no, it's a joke.
We do, but nothing that we can share at this point in time because of IP. So you'll see in the video and in this presentation that we've shown them as icons. So that's to sort of give you a bit of an idea of what they might be like, and then we'll tell you that they're in our design language as well. But at the time, we can't sort of show exactly what they're going to look like or how they'll fit together.
Yeah, right. That's good.
As soon as we release concepts or sketches to the public, then we obviously can't lock in any IP. So it's all kept in tight for the time being. Totally understand. And there's a really great question here actually in the chat. Given the reusable nature of the product, how would you ensure customer loyalty and repeat purchases? And how would this be balanced with the planet mission and reduction and reducing carbon footprint? So you've done a lot of this with the memo bottle itself. So how did you build that, and how do you imagine you'll continue to do that with other products coming into the business?
Well, it's an interesting one with our bottle is that we essentially don't want people to come back and buy another one for themselves. We want them to have it for as long as they possibly can. So for us, that customer lifetime value, the way that we've sort of worked with that is that it's become a great gifting product. So that, people have come back and purchase. We launched the accessories range, which meant that people can come back and extend the life and love of their bottle as well through, all the different accessories. And then now, there's those additional reusable products so that they can continue using the memo bottles for a while.
Yeah, awesome. No, absolutely. So here is asked the question, have you identified others who manufacture the same shaped water bottles? And how do you intend to entice people to purchase memo bottles over a competitor's product?
Yeah, it's a really good question. It's one that we've been sort of fielding since we launched the brand back in 2014. We are really fortunate for a few reasons. One, the product is incredibly difficult to make with the off-center neck and everything else that goes around it. I don't know if we want to pass that on to Jesse because we'll be here for half an hour again. But incredibly difficult to make. So it creates quite a decent barrier to entry for replica products. There are imitation products on the market. However, you'll see that most of them do exist in that promo space. So for, super cheap, large corporate orders, it's a very different product. It's, most of them aren't BPA free. They're really flimsy and break. You got anything to add to that? Oh, no. But so it's a completely different customer. So we're fortunate in that we there aren't any, we haven't come across any legitimate competitors or legitimate brands really selling similar products as yet. So, which is pretty incredible after this many years. And the only ones that we do see, as I said, are the very, very cheap imitations. So I'm starting to waffle a little bit, but I hope that answers the question.
It does. And Josh in the comments is basically saying that you guys need to get me a memo bottle because I'm using my shaker, and it's my bad actually.
I had a giggle.
It's my fault because I actually do have one, and I really should have got it, but I have a good excuse because I'm using this because it's got a protein shake in it. So no foul, no harm, no foul. I do have one, Josh. Just to let you know, I have been very much so taken care of by these guys. So appreciate the comment.
You're just trying to convince all the listeners that you work out, Robbie.
Oh, no, absolutely not. No. we know out of this trio who works out the most, and that's Jesse. Yeah. So yeah. Out of all the questions that have come through, actually, really, we've gotten through so much. And David here has asked a final question. Name a designer you most admire. And I think that this is going to be a great closing remark.
I think that's good to finish on. For me, there's a few that I admire. But yeah, the famous German designer, Dieter Rams, how can you go past the 10 good design rules? There's something that we make sure that all of our products fall within. Big inspiration there.
Yeah, awesome. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Guys, it's been so good to do this session, sit down and sit with everybody here who's attended and asked all these questions about the business. I'm really enthusiastic about opening up your investment offer this week. I cannot believe we're working together again after we did that first raise. I really just felt so excited about your business and actually what you'd been able to achieve then. And to see how much you've grown since your last raise is just so impressive. So a huge testament to you guys and what you've been able to achieve. And to everybody here, thank you so much for attending. I'll send out a recording to everybody who's attended here today, in case there's anything that you felt like you missed or really just wanted to watch some of it over again. But yeah, guys, I'll hand over to you for any closing remarks.
Yeah,
thanks,
well,
Robbie.
Yeah, thanks, Robbie. Thanks for hosting, and thank you to everyone for watching our presentation, coming to question time, and for the interest in the business as well. We're really excited to take the business and the growth to the next level, and bring these products and put them in your hands.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks again for giving up your Monday nights. If there are any additional questions, as Robbie said, you can put them through the Birchal platform. Otherwise, you can email them to us at invest@memobottle.com. Love to speak to you all. And yeah, we're super excited about this and the future of the business. So we can't wait to have you all on board for whoever join us. So thank you. It's been good fun.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great evening. And yeah, absolutely look forward to seeing you in the office soon. Take care.
Cheers.
See ya.